Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Magnolia Shine podcast. Once again, this is our 6th episode of this show. I'm Trellis Williams. Right here with me is Blake Levine. We are glad to be with you here today. Week 2 is among us, and now we even have NFL action going on, so football is we're completely immersed in football right now.
This is the best time of the season. I'm just ready to make some picks since I beat you last week.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to get that fixed this week, man. All right, look, we got some week 2 games for high school football here in Mississippi. We picked 10 that we're going to pick here today. My first one is Noxubee County, who's 1-0 after a big win over Heidelberg. They take on Kemper County on the road. Kemper County 0-1 on the season, man. What you got, Blake?
You know, I really like this Kemper team. We talk about their really good running back that's committed to Ole
Yeah.
Miss. Matter of fact, I think he's the only recruit in the top 15 that is committed to a Mississippi school, Demarius Yates. I mean, he is a home run hitter, and they're going to need some home runs. But after what Noxubee showed me last week with what they did with Heidelberg and winning pretty nicely, not I wouldn't say easily because it was closer times, but I think Noxubee has showed me enough that they're the favorite in 3A, and so I'm going to take them.
Yeah, I got Noxubee as well. That first week game against Heidelberg, very impressive. I know that Kemper County's got that running back in Yates, but I just think Noxubee, obviously, they've got the squad, and I think they got it. I think they're going to beat Kemper County. Now, our next game is D'Iberville and Gaucher. These are both top 25 teams in Max Preps. They're both 1-0 after week 1. Both these teams seem impressive to me. But I got Gaucher, Blake.
Yeah, I'm going to take D'Iberville. I think they're kind of in the same spot this year. I mean, we talk about Gaucher being in the state championship last year, a team that I guess we just don't talk enough about, for a team that was literally in the title game last year and played the game pretty well. I just think Gaucher's lost too much, and D'Iberville just being a slightly bigger school is going to beat them. I do think it's going to be a close game, but that's one we're going to have a little bit different. I just think D'Iberville's got a little more than they do just because of the depth aspect of it. However, would I be surprised if Gaucher won? No, I'm not trying to hedge my bet. I'm going to take D'Iberville. But Gaucher is definitely on the rise, and we'll talk a little bit later in the show about just coast football having a resurgence right now.
Oh, for sure, and we're seeing a lot of good things down there. Hattiesburg and Laurel. Okay, so both these teams started off 0-1. Hattiesburg losing to Petal, Laurel losing to West Jones. However, both these teams playing competition, like playing up to their competition. West Jones being a bigger school than Laurel, Petal being a bigger school than Hattiesburg. I got Hattiesburg, though.
Yeah, I have Hattiesburg as well. I was a little disappointed in Laurel week 1. Look, as someone commented, it was raining, it was wet, it was a little tough there, and West Jones is built more for the rain anyways. But I think Hattiesburg, after getting beat pretty good in week 1 against Petal, they turn back around and they go down in the classification. Instead of playing up at 7A, they go down and they play 5A. This is always a good game just because it's for the Clarence Brown Jug. It's the oldest rivalry in the state of Mississippi. Even the mayors get into it. But I'm going to take Hattiesburg as well. They have too much talent on the outside. I think Laurel's still a year away.
Yeah, and then obviously this might be a game that would be considered the game of the week by many. These are 2 top 10 teams in the state in Brandon and Madison Central. Now, Madison Central's 1-0 after week 1. Brandon lost to Tupelo, as we talked about. And the thing is about Brandon is that you lose to the best team in the state, so really no shame there. But I think that it sounded like they're going to be without Tyson Robinson for this week. So what you thinking, Blake?
Oh, I actually did not know that. Is that true? Is that what the
I don't
talk is?
I don't know if that's confirmed, but I heard from Jake Wimberly when he was talking about it that he said that he believes that Brandon's going to be without Tyson Robinson. So I would take that until further notice.
Well, that kind of changes my thinking, man. You put me on the spot. I like that. Hey, there you go. For all the viewers right now or watching it later, I mean that's a massive thing.
Hey, listen, noted. I think that's a first here on this show. Me telling you
Yeah,
something that you didn't know.
yeah, right. Uh, I'm gonna still take Brandon either way. As in, I don't want to change my pick even if I find out that he's not playing either way. I think Brandon gets back off the mat after losing. Madison, although they won, I hate to say this, I don't think Pearl's a contender in 7A, and I'm not really sure I liked what I saw from Madison's offense in that game. 20 points, but it was kind of one late, and so I'm going to take Brandon. I think Brandon, feels, I guess slighted. They kind of got embarrassed week one, and they know that, and so I'm going to take Brandon this week.
I know you're going to get on me about this, but man, I got Madison Central. I'm
How
sorry,
could
like
that be
that.
possible? You just told me Brandon's going to win the whole thing, and you picking against them the
Yeah,
first 2 weeks.
yeah. Listen, man, that was 3 weeks ago. That was so 3 weeks ago, man. Listen, right now, I don't. What I saw from that game doesn't make me very confident, but I will say this. I do think Brandon's going to have a good year. I already thought highly of Madison Central. I had them as my third team heading into the season. I think they're going to win this game at home because another thing, too, is that they kind of alternate who wins these games by home and away. And so I think Madison Central has it this year, even if Tyson Robinson plays.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. How are you going to have a title team and have them lose the first 2 weeks? That's crazy.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, crazier things have happened, man. And sometimes, like, especially when you play a tough schedule like that, you play Tupelo at home, and then you play Madison Central on the road. I mean, that's the perfect storm for an 0-2 start. I'm not writing them off, but I do think Madison Central wins this game.
All right. Well, we're really going against each other this week. These are some good games.
That's right. That's right. I mean, listen, we might have a 10-0 and 0-10 guy anyway. Now, we got Oxford and South Panola taking on each other, and so South Panola's hosting this game against Oxford. And so, what you thinking? What you thinking, Blake? I mean, Oxford 1-0 on the season. South Panola lost their first week, which was a shocker to many. What you thinking?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Oxford. I was impressed by their late win against Collierville. Uh, Definitely disappointing for South Panola, although maybe DeSoto's good. I think they play Lake Cormorant this week, and talk about another great game that's up north. I'm going to take DeSoto, and I mean if Lake Cormorant beats them, all of a sudden is Lake back, contending. But anyways, back to this game. Yeah, I think Oxford has this one. I think Oxford's maybe a little bit better than we all gave them credit for. Maybe we were sleeping on them a little bit. South Panola might just be down this year. It is what it is.
Well, see, I'm thinking South Panola's taking this one because here's the thing: South Panola in week one they lose to DeSoto, but it's a very close game. I mean, they lost barely. They barely lost that game, and now they're at home. They're taking on Oxford, which is a tough opponent. I think they edge out Oxford though. I think they get themselves back in the win column and get their season back on track.
Interesting. So you have a lot of these teams that lost. A couple lost week one that you have winning week two, like a little bounce back.
Yeah, everybody basically except for Brandon. But anyway.
Yeah, except for the one team you picked to win the title.
Okay, all right. Well, on to the next. On to the next. We got Petal and Ocean Springs. Now, this one is very interesting.
This is the game of the week for me. This is the game of the week for me.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm very high on both of these teams. So whoever loses, I'm still pretty high on. What you thinking, Blake?
I'm going to take Petal. And I feel like if there was some kind of line on this game, I think Ocean Springs would be favored. However, I'm going to take Petal. I like Marcus Boyles and what I saw from week one. And they didn't just beat Hattiesburg, they throttled Hattiesburg. And there was a lot of great, pub about that Petal had more talent than we all thought. They had a good quarterback, good defensive lineman, a young running back that's going to be a top 100 player in the nation. And it was like, wow. Okay, well, maybe this team has just the roster that's good enough to compete with any team. Ocean Springs, very impressive first week, but again, I don't think much of Meridian at the moment. So I don't even know what to take from that. So by way of, I know what I can take from Petal's win more than I can take from Ocean Springs, I'm going to take the Panthers.
Well, see, I agree with your logic there because I would take more from Petal's win than I would take from Ocean Springs' win as well. But the game's going to be in Ocean Springs. I think this Ocean Springs team is a very good team. I had them as a top 5 team for me going into this season. I'm taking Ocean Springs for this game, but I think Petal's going to have a really, really good season. And I think they're going to show well in this game, but I think Ocean Springs takes the win.
I'll say this. If Ocean Springs wins this game and say they win by a touchdown, 10 points or something, I think they become a title contender. Not because I think they're beating a team that can win the title, but because all of a sudden I realized, okay, well that's a serious program down there. That maybe this is the year.
Yeah, maybe so, and we'll have to see. Then we got MRA and Hartfield Academy. Now, Blake, I got to say this. MRA's last week's win against Jefferson Davis County was very impressive to me. It surprised me. I know that for you, you picked them to win the game, but you were even surprised by how much they dominated JDC. And off of that, I'm thinking MRA wins this game against Hartfield. I do think Hartfield shows well. They're hosting the game, but I got MRA.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with you on this one. I'm going to take MRA as well. I think MRA is the definitive second best team in the MEIS. They will get their shot at Jackson Academy at some point. They'll get to play in the regular season, and heck, they might be playing in the playoffs as well. So for me, I think MRA has solidified themselves as the second best team. Now, there's nothing to take away from Hartfield losing against Columbia at home. I mean, that's a great game against a team that I think could win 4A. However, the MRA performance in week 1 and 2, even the game that they lost, the performance that they had against a big Tennessee school, that offense is elite. That offense is
Yeah.
as elite as they come in the whole state, whether it was Samuel Stockett and all the wide receivers, Case Thomas. I mean, that is an offense that is rivals anybody's.
Yeah, no, I would 100% agree. Got MRA in that one as well. Then we got Terry and Canton. Obviously, I'll be there up in Canton for that game tomorrow night. Terry coming off a really nice week 1 win, 47-0 over Murrah. Canton, they edged out Velma Jackson. Of course, that is a rivalry game, and even though Velma Jackson's a very small school, they've got a really good football program for their size. So I do think Canton is a solid team. I got Terry winning this game, though.
Yeah, I got Terry with you as well. I thought Canton was actually going to not necessarily blow out Velma, but I thought they were going to win by double digits. And Terry, obviously, I picked Murrah in week 1, so I'm not going to pick against them 2 straight weeks. So I'm going to go with Terry. I think that they're going to run the ball a little bit better than Can's going to be able to run the ball. I'm not sure Can's going to put up enough points to play with Terry. I think Terry will do enough defensively as long as they contain Jaden Creation. They should win the game.
Yeah. Well, see, that is tough. You got a real good wide receiver on that side for Canton. So, I mean, Canton will have something to say about it, but I think I got Terry as well. We got Poplarville and Stone, and this will be an interesting one. These are both good teams. Poplarville took a tough loss in week 1. If I'm not mistaken, they lost to Clarksdale, was it? Who they lost to?
No,
They didn't lose
West
Clarksdale.
Harrison. West Harrison.
Okay.
Cleveland.
Okay,
Cleveland lost to Cleveland. Right.
That's right. Okay. Well, that's my bad. Poplarville's 0-1. And Stone is 1-0. It's going to be at Stone. What you thinking, Blake?
I'm going to take Poplarville. This is going to be the one where I took the team that lost the week before. I was a little surprised by the Poplarville loss, to be honest with you. I would have picked them in that game. I had them as my preseason number 1. They have 2 running backs, one that's upperclassman and one that's a lowerclassman, arguably the best tandem in the state. They have great defensive linemen. They got great defensive players. I was just floored that they lost this game. So I think Poplarville comes back. Everyone calms down, and all of a sudden they're right back into everyone's talk.
Yeah, no, I think they're going to lose this week. I'm taking Stone. The thing is with Stone, I think that they are going to be a top contending program in their class. And I think at home against Poplarville's a very tough team. I know the Hornets will come in there ready to go, but I think Stone's going to get this win barely.
Well, if Stone wins, I think that they're on 5A, right?
Yeah, Stone's 5A, yes.
Yeah. That's probably a top 5A team if they win that game for sure.
Yeah, and I had Stone right outside my top 5 when we made our top 5 list for 5A. I just left them right off. But the thing is, though, is that they had a good week 1 win, and they're at home. I think this is their opportunity to put themselves out on the stage.
Good. No, I mean that would be great. I mean, I love the high school, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's down in Wiggins, I'm pretty sure. Then we got Northwest Rankin taking on Clinton. And listen, this wouldn't have been a game that we would be talking about probably if Clinton would have been as we expected them to be. However, I mean, listen, Clinton looked way better than we expected them to be. They completely dominated and blew out Warren Central in week 1. And now they're at home again, taking on Northwest Rankin. Northwest Rankin coming off a week 1 win as well. Listen, man, I know that this is crazy, but listen, I've got Clinton, man. Their week 1 win just was they sold themselves to me in week 1.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Northwest Rankin. I thought they beat a solid Germantown team. Maybe not a
Yep, they
great
did.
Germantown team, but a solid Germantown team. I'm going to wait one more week to buy into Clinton. I'm going to wait one more week. It may have just been Warren Central was disappointing because again, I still can't get over that loss. I mean, and the way that it happened, I just can't get over that. So I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm okay. I'm rolling with Warren Central this year, and I said, man, I jumped off that after week 1. So yeah, I'm going to take Northwest Rankin. And I'm going to wait one more week to buy the Arrows stock.
Yeah, and we'll have to see about that too, because I'm, we didn't talk about this one, but I'm kind of eyeing that Warren Central and Pearl game because I feel like this is going to be an opportunity for us to see, okay, what's Warren Central really like? That preseason game against Brandon, they did not look good. They did not look good against Clinton either, and so it's like they haven't shown much promise yet. Although those could have just been two.
They haven't put any good tape on. They haven't put any good tape on film.
Yeah, although those could just be really good programs they're playing, and they probably are in Brandon and Clinton. So, you take on Pearl. Pearl's a good, solid program as well. So I'm not dissing Pearl or anything, but I feel like if they completely lay an egg against Pearl, then at that point, it just doesn't seem like this is their year.
Right, and it's not that they're not going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. It's just about
Oh
how
yeah,
deep
yeah,
in the playoffs are they going to go.
yeah. No, for sure, and just how much they're going to be able to compete in the North. There as well. A game that we did not talk about as well, and I don't even know why I didn't write this one down. It's Starkville and West Point.
Oh yeah. I was waiting for that one.
Oh yeah, I don't even know how I'd missed that. But anyway, Starkville and we got to talk about it. Listen, forget the 10. We'll talk about this right now.
It would be we'll do a bonus.
Yeah.
It's one of the games. I'm going to take Starkville though. I know the West Point crowd hates when people pick against them, and I guess why would you ever pick against them? But I think Starkville, that offense, they're going to put up enough points. It's gonna be an interesting game, right? One team that throws the ball a lot more against a team that runs the ball a lot. Uh, can Starkville's defense get any stops? Like that's what I'm wondering. If Starkville's defense gets a few stops, I think they win this game. So I'm going to take Starkville just by a little bit.
And Blake, I agree with you that the Golden Triangle, I love these games, man. I love these games. And so, but however, I do not agree with you. I'm picking West Point. I'm picking
Really?
West Point. I think West Point will slow down Starkville's offense enough. Because here's the thing. First week, I think Starkville's going to be a great team this year. First week, they put up a bunch of points, like a ridiculous amount of points against Oak Grove. I think week 2, I think West Point takes some of that film. I think they stop them a little bit, and I think Starkville learns from this game. But I think West Point wins this battle.
Well, I'll tell you what. The way that Ocean Springs and Petal is the big game in the South, this is the big game in the North.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and we talked about these early seasons. You're going to learn a lot about these teams, but some teams you're just going to learn a little bit more about. And, when you play in the Golden Triangle and you play these games early, you learn about your team so quick, right? You're like, boom, okay, well, you're going against top tier teams right away. There's no easy gimmies when you play in the Golden Triangle arguably until you get into district and you maybe get a team that isn't as good. But when you play the Lewisvilles, the West Points, the Starkville, like when they play those games, it's elite football.
100%. I mean, listen, I'm excited about seeing what we're going to see this week. And I know something that we were going to talk about, Blake, this week is on the coast and how, that football is really coming up there on the coast. I mean, we were just talking about Ocean Springs. We're even talking about, Gulfport as well as like Gaucher, teams like that. And we already have Pascagoula. And Pascagoula's on the coast, and then Picayune as well. Picayune's down south. Now you're starting to get a lot of good football down there on the coast there and in South Mississippi.
Well, you think about it. Okay, so you had Picayune and Poplarville last year, or Picayune and Poplar in the last 5 years winning titles. You got Gaucher in the finals. You got Ocean Springs, competing to go to the finals and the semifinals, and they look good again. We were really impressed with Gulfport. All of a sudden, you think Stone is a top 5 team in 5A possibly. Then we go over to Pearl River Central, where they had a shutout over Moss Point, 47-0. Okay, we keep going. West Harrison, okay, they had a bad year last year, but they dropped down and they have one of the best running backs in the state in Jordan Stapleton. Pascagoula, good again. And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
okay, hold on a moment. There's a lot of really good teams here. Past Christiana had a couple years ago had a really good season. This is arguably the best the coast has been as a group, not just individual teams in one and
Yeah.
but as a group, the coast slash South Mississippi, because we'll go up a county above the coast. It's been, I don't know, a decade, 2 decades.
Yeah, no, no, and it's looking good. Listen, I'm excited to see week 2. We've only seen 1 week of football, and so one thing about 1 week of football is you only see one team play one team. So
Yeah.
you don't really know where either one of them are going into the game, and then you see that result, and then you have to compare. And so week 2 will be a good week. I think that'll be an eye opener for some of these teams to see where they are. Another thing I wanted to talk about, Blake, is that looking over at the MAIS, you see MRA and Hartfield playing, and maybe I'm just not as familiar with how the MAIS plays their games. I'm kind of surprised that they play this early in the season, because aren't these teams in the same district?
No, not anymore.
Okay, so
No,
that's
they're all
changed.
no. They each are in individual districts with teams that used to be the old 5A. So it's all four A has 24 schools or whatever, and you know MRA's in one district with a bunch of other schools. J's in one with a bunch of other schools. Prep with a bunch of right. So these games are just games
Oh,
in the sense of fun and PowerPoints. And
hold
they
on a
don't
sec.
do theirs based off, but they don't do playoff seeding based off standings. They do it off PowerPoints. So there was
Interesting.
like
Interesting.
there was talk. So like Park Lane, they beat Jackson Prep, and someone said they were doing the math, and if Jackson Prep went 2-8 and Park Lane went 10-0, and Park Lane beat Jackson Prep, the PowerPoints would still not let Park Lane get into the highest classification for the playoffs.
How can you go undefeated and not be in the highest classification?
Because they do it off PowerPoints, not off your record.
Okay, wow, interesting.
So because
Now,
Jackson Prep is playing a full schedule of the MRAs, the Hartfield, the J, and all those,
mm,
and Park Lane isn't, the PowerPoints didn't work out that way. In which I was like, well, then why are we playing the games?
I
You
know.
know, because Park Lane, this would be the year that they should play in the highest one. Now, do I think they would win it? No, but you know what? It would be a cool tip of the cap of Park Lane jumping up into the highest possible playoff they could play in. But no, that's not. Yeah, that's not how they do it anymore.
Let's hop into this a little bit more, Blake, because you're giving me something that's new, and I know some of our audience it'll be new to some of our audience. Some of our audience will already know about it though. So in the MAIS, did they change the classifications to where 4A is the highest now?
Yes, but all the 5A and 6A teams are together, and it's now four.
Okay, I see, I see.
Right,
And so
but the
now,
top, but yes, and the four best teams go into one playoff, and then the next eight go into the next eight.
I see, I see.
But the way that they did it was based off PowerPoints, because if they do it off PowerPoints, guess who can never get into that top four? Any school other than Hartfield J, Prep, and MRA. So those teams all play a full season knowing that they're going to all be in the playoffs, no matter what.
Interesting. Okay, well,
Jackson Prep could go 2-8 and they get a playoff game. No doubt.
so Jackson Prep's pretty much for sure going to be in the playoffs, even though it seems like they may be having a down year. Which I will say this: I'm not totally sold on, Blake, that this is going to be. I think it's a down year. I definitely think they're worse than last year. They were very good last year. However, I don't think that they're a bad football team, because actually that game against Parkland, I know you said that they were being shut out for a long time. I think they did a good job against Parkland.
Yeah, because Parkland's got one of the best private school offenses, around. And, maybe right behind MRA. They probably have the second best in the private schools. They're just not going to be able to score. I mean, they're going to
Yeah.
struggle to score all year long. You think about it, I think they had 36 seniors they lost last year. And yeah, 36 seniors to a Brandon or Tupelo that have, 2,000 kids in their school is different when you're Jackson Prep and you lose 36 seniors.
Yeah, no, 100%. But yeah, and then we'll just touch on some of these other ones. Oak Grove. I know Oak Grove and Germantown are playing. These are two 0-1 teams, but 0-1 teams that played against some pretty good teams, especially Oak Grove. Oak Grove, we would agree that Oak Grove's one of the top teams this year in 7A. It just seems that way. Obviously, they could score points. They put up 54 against Starkville, lost on the last second. You know what I mean? And now they're playing on the road at Germantown. I'm thinking Oak Grove's going to win this game. Of course, we'll see. This is a good opportunity for Germantown to show how good they are because I know that they're trying to make noise this year.
Yeah, I think Oak Grove wins this game. As a matter of fact, if Oak Grove doesn't win this game, then I'm really concerned about where they stand. Are they better than Petal? Are they are they better than Brandon? Like, are they going to be a 3 or 4 seed? Is last year going to creep up again, where they just didn't have it? But no, I think Oak Grove actually wins this game pretty handily. But they got to get their defense straight. They got to get their defense straight. It was the problem. It was a problem last year too. They couldn't stop anyone last year. Heck, they went to MRA and MRA blew them out because they couldn't stop them. Go play Starkville. They can't stop them this year. Oak Grove's got to figure out this defense. It is a problem because they have an offense that's good enough to go as far as they want, but their defense is as low as enough to not even win a playoff game.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how that goes. I know we have an Oak Grove fan here in the chat. We appreciate you joining us. You've been on all three of our streams. Is awesome.
Is that our guy Connor?
That's right. Connor Gibson.
Yeah,
so yeah, we appreciate.
I like Connor a lot.
Yeah, and so he was saying that he's talking about as always beat pedal, and he says rooting for the Greyhounds is painful, but it's always beat pedal. And so when I saw that, I knew this is an Oak Grove fan. I knew from those chats right there. This is an Oak Grove fan.
Hey, I appreciate him listening in. I appreciate him chiming in because it helps our page. We're trying to grow this thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough when you're trying to grow a new podcast and not nobody knows who you are, but you need people to start clicking in. You got to be interested, and you just hope that more and more people discover it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And while we're talking about this right now, be sure to like and share. Share with anybody who's interested. You have friends who are interested in some high school sports. Also, we're about to get into some college games here. And listen, college football's in full swing, and I think we got some interesting opinions on that as well. So hit the subscribe button, like, and share the Magnolia Shine podcast. So, Blake, man, we're going to change pace a little bit, talk a little bit about a little bit of college here. And so we're going to get started with a big one. We got Mississippi State hosting Arizona State. Both teams are 1-0. All right. And coming off week 1 wins, Arizona State played North Arizona, so they demolished them. And the Mississippi State beat Southern Miss 34-17 on the road. Blake, man, what you thinking going into this game? We had this segment talking about Coach Dillingham talking about Starkville. Man, what you thinking?
Yeah, I think Arizona State's going to win this game, and I think they're going to win by about 10. And the spread is about 6.5, so I think Arizona State covers. I think Mississippi State's a little bit better than last year, but I still don't think they're good enough to beat a top 15. I don't know if Arizona State's technically. I mean, I know they are ranked up there. I don't know if I view them as a top 15 team.
Yeah.
However, they are in the ranking system. I just don't think that they're good enough just yet to win those types of games, even at home. I know there's been a lot of talk. I'm sure there's a lot of, flair going back and forth. Where are they staying? Where are they eating? All kinds of stuff. But Arizona State's still a well-coached team. No matter how much you hate Kenny Dillingham, he's got them really rocking. He's got them really competing. He overachieved last year. And I just don't see how Mississippi State cleans up enough of the mistakes from the offensive line, the penalties, the weird stuff that they were doing in week 1. I still think Mississippi State's just not there yet. However, I'm glad that they beat Southern Miss because they had to have that win.
Yeah, and listen, I want to preface this. I actually like Coach Dillingham of Arizona State. I think he's the type of coach that a player would want to play for. I think he's got a lot of good energy. Obviously, the way he led that team last year to the college football playoff was very impressive. However, I think that they're overrated this year. I think that the reaction to last year was and they lost their running back. And their running back was a big part of that success last year. They lost him. I don't think they're quite number 12 in the country. You know what I mean? I do think they're a
No,
good team, though.
I don't either. I
Yeah.
don't think they're 12 in the country
I,
either. However, I do think they're top 25.
yeah, and that's fine. I think they're a good team. And I think they will be a good team. Man, I got the Bulldogs winning this one. I've got the Bulldogs winning this one. Man, I think this is the opportunity for Jeff Lebby to flex his muscles a little bit and be like, all right, man, look, I'm not trying to hear all this firing talk already, man. Second year. I mean, it took over a rough program. I mean, listen, this program was in bad way when he took it over. So I mean, the thing is that you gotta be a little bit patient. I think this is the time where Mississippi State starts off 2-0. I still don't think the Mississippi State's gonna have a great season. I don't think they're gonna get in a bowl because the SEC schedule is just too tough. I don't think but I do think they win this game on Saturday. I think the Bulldogs shocked the world a little bit, and then we're going to be I say we because I'm a Mississippi State fan. I think we're going to be overrated right after that. But but I think we'll win this one.
Arguably, the best game Mississippi State played last year was at Arizona State. Funny enough,
They
I mean,
did.
when you
They
really
came.
think
They
about
came
it.
back. They almost pulled it off, and that was on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that was arguably their best game they played. I'm sure Arizona State remembers that too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think this may be a little bit different. They had played last year, but I think they're pretty aware of each other. So yeah, I'm taking Arizona State. I'm taking them by about 11 points.
Yeah, and so then our next game we're going to talk about here is Jackson State and Southern Miss. Now I'm so excited about this. I'm going to watch this one. So look, Blake, I want to hear your opinion first. I'm going to let you go with your opinion first. Southern Miss obviously lost to Mississippi State last week, so no shame in that for USM. And I thought they had a decent showing. I mean, they put up 17 points, even though like that touchdown was in garbage. The last touchdown was in garbage time. The touchdown to get to 10 to tie the game. I mean, that was an unreal play. But they put up a good fight, and their defense looked good. Jackson State beat Hampton comfortably. And so, what you thinking, Blake?
The way that I said Mississippi State cannot lose if they're supposed to be building on their program, they cannot lose to Southern Miss. Southern Miss cannot lose to Jackson State. I know the Jackson State community likes me, but the reality is if you're an FBS program, you can never lose to an FCS program, and that doesn't. Again, people take that as a shot, and it's not a shot. I mean, there's levels to this whole thing. Just like Jackson State should never lose to a Division II program. So if Jackson State was playing Delta State, I think Delta State's an awesome Division II program, but Jackson State should never lose to Delta State, right? It's not a disrespectful thing because you're good in your class. And look, of course, you got the North Dakota, South Dakota states, the Montana states that could possibly beat UMass. But that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when Army loses to Tarleton State. That's an embarrassment for Army. It makes me feel bad if we were going to World War III that we can't beat Tarleton State as a country. But yeah, Southern Miss should win this game by 3 touchdowns. But that doesn't mean that Jackson State can't play well in a loss. So I think Jackson State competes with them early, like most teams do, just like Southern Miss was tied 10-10. And at some point, the depth, Southern Miss being an FBS program, if they're going to be a 6-win team, they got to win this game anyways. So I'm taking Southern Miss.
Okay, man, listen, this is... So, I agree with some of what you're saying, but like I think that there's a big difference between an FCS school and a Division II school. Whereas FBS and FCS, man, if you take the bottom of FBS and the top of FCS, I think the top of FCS is beating the bottom of FBS. And man, I listen, I like Southern Miss. I'm actually from Hattiesburg, so I've got an affinity for Southern Miss. But I'm thinking they're a little closer to the bottom of FBS. And Jackson State's pretty close to the top of FCS. You know what I mean? But I don't think Southern Miss is that bad, though, I will say. But, man, I'm taking the Tigers. I'm taking the Tigers, man. And listen, I think Jackson State, because here's another thing, too. I think they're going to load that stadium up with dark blue and red. I think it's going to be full of Jackson State fans. And, man, listen, that band is going to come down there, and once they're playing, man, I think USM's going to be shaking in their boots, man. And I think the Tigers are winning. I think they're getting a big marquee win here.
I'll tell you what, if Jackson State wins this game, the talk on two sides, ready? For the talk on Jackson State side, it will be, well, we're better than the Dion years, and it's not all that close. Not only did we win the Celebration Bowl, but here we
I
are
know it.
going and beating FBS teams, and what do we need that for? We're as good. We're arguably one of the best teams in the state. I mean, look, they're not better than Ole Miss or Mississippi State,
No,
but
no, no, no,
they're
no.
better. But we're the best non big program non SEC school in the state, right? I mean that you get to claim that for until I guess whenever you want, right? Until I guess they play again. For Southern Miss, losing that game, I mean, they're wondering if Will Hall could come back. I mean, like it's bad. I mean, that's. I mean, that would be disgraceful for Southern Miss, and I'm sure Jack State wants to put that stain on that school. I'm sure they want to. It'd be fun for them. For Southern Miss, I mean, that would be a catastrophe. I mean, that would be devastating for Southern Miss. I mean, I don't know how far down they would go from that because Charles Huff is supposed to be the quote unquote savior, and here we are, and the first two games are arguably worse than last year. You say we have a new roster. That would be. I mean, that would be the biggest loss of the weekend of any given school in
I
the
mean,
whole nation.
listen, it'd be yeah. I mean, it would be a tough loss for Southern Miss. I mean, I'm not trying to say it wouldn't be a tough loss. I think we might have lost Blake. I'm hoping they still.
Oh
Oh,
no,
you're
sorry
back.
about that. So it says my phone not on do not disturb. So someone gave me a call, the spam call.
Oh no, it's all good. Listen, here's the thing: is that I think it'd be a bad loss. I think Southern Miss could recover from a Jackson State loss. I think they could, and I don't think they're going to be a great team this year. But I don't think they're going to. I think they're better than last year still. But man, I'm telling you, what I love about this though is I love these Mississippi schools playing each other. I think this is great. I'd like to get Ole Miss in the fold a little bit as well. And Ole Miss, they'll play Southern Miss sometimes, but I would love for all of them to play each other. And I know with
Just not gonna
you know,
happen. It's just not gonna
it's not
happen.
it's not gonna happen because also another thing about the SEC is now going to 9 games next year and everything as well. So these non-conference games are starting to become smaller and smaller and starting to separate. But I like these. I do like these games.
Yeah, no, they're really good. I mean, I like it, but sadly, college football's not going that way, and it is what it is, and it's just sad.
Yeah, yeah. I like the local stuff. And when we're talking about high school sports, so I love high school sports too. Is and we're going to the smaller level now, but we're talking about Starkville and West Point playing each other. I like that local flair. I like the local flair. But anyway, Jackson State, Southern Miss. I got Jackson State. You got Southern Miss. I'm probably sounding crazy with some of these predictions. I think I'm going to sound crazy again here because we got Ole Miss and Kentucky. All right. Now, this is not
You're gonna
crazy.
take Kentucky.
I'm totally taking Kentucky. 100% taking
I,
Kentucky. No doubt.
what are you doing here?
Yeah,
No,
like this.
there's a 0% chance Ole Miss is gonna lose to Kentucky.
There's
Zero,
0%.
absolutely
What
zero.
about? But Kentucky beat
0%.
them last year. Kentucky beat them last year, and
Right.
Ole
If
Miss
Kentucky,
tends to lose.
if
to
Ole Miss,
Kentucky.
if Ole Miss had beaten Kentucky last year, Kentucky would have a 5% chance to win this year. But because Kentucky beat them last year, there's a absolutely 0% chance. It might be in the negative percent chance. Ole Miss is going to win this game.
Hey, just because you're saying because they will be aware they're not going to look over this team. But here's the thing, man.
No, not at all.
Ole Miss is known for fumbling the bag, man. I mean, listen, and the thing is that they're going to be on the road against Kentucky, which is, man, not like Kentucky is known as a basketball school, but underrated football program and fan base. I think it's going to be tough for them. I don't think it's going to be anything close to like. I think it's going to be like by a field goal. I think it's going to be right at the end. But I think Kentucky's winning this game. This is probably that is probably the craziest prediction I have. I got to say when I'm looking at it. But I got Kentucky winning. They won last year. I think they're going to win again. I think it's going to leave Rebels fans just stunned.
That would be absolutely stunning if Ole Miss lost this game. I don't think there's a way that they lose this game. I think they win it by double digits, probably 2 touchdowns or more. I would be floored. I'd be more surprised maybe if Kentucky beat Ole Miss than Jack State beating Southern Miss, and that's saying a lot.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. So then we got getting to Alcorn. Alcorn. Ooh, rough, rough
They're gonna
times.
lose. Who are they playing? Sorry,
Oh,
they're playing Alabama A&M. Sorry, they're playing Alabama A&M. I asking who
yeah.
they playing. It was more of a joke. I, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be a tough season.
No, no. I think it's gonna be a blowout. I got Alabama A&M for sure. I mean, listen, man. They lost. They lost to a team that hadn't won in a couple of years. I mean, that's just tough. That's a new low. Um, and then so that's kind of a quick one. And then Valley. And Mississippi Valley State taking on Tarleton State. I think Tarleton State's got it.
Yeah, that team just beat Army.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
oh man. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, no, I got them for sure over Valley.
yeah,
Said,
yeah,
unfortunately, we
it's
got
gonna be a
Valley.
blowout.
Yeah, Valley and Alcorn just not looking too good this year. But man, I love how good Jackson State is. I hope that Southern Miss shows some good strength this year. I'm hoping Mississippi State shows some good strength. Ole Miss is a very good team. And don't get me wrong, I'm picking Kentucky to beat them this time. I think Ole Miss is going to have a great season. I think they'll win 9 or 10 games. I do think they're losing this game, though. So I do think Ole Miss is a great team, though. But, hey, look, I think we'll have some interesting college football. I'm very excited about watching that Jackson State Southern Miss game, though.
Oh yeah. That's definitely the most exciting game of the week, no doubt. I mean that one's fun because, like I said, I'm telling you how Southern Miss is. It's a must win for Southern Miss. I mean, Jack State's gonna be ready. They're gonna be ready. They're gonna compete. That I will promise. They will compete.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Listen, I almost want to go down there and see that game, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But listen, I think we'll have some good football coming up. And folks, we don't, talk pro football, but man, we got pro football coming up. This is that time of year. It's a great time of year, Blake.
Hey, maybe we'll talk a little Saints football as we move on. But I want everyone to remind you guys that we're going to be up live Friday night right after the
That's
games.
right.
Now, what time it is? It just depends on what time Charles gets home.
That's right. That's right. I'll be in Canton, and then Canton's about 35 minutes away from here, so try to get here as quickly as possible. But we'll be live tomorrow night, late night in the SIP, man, and it'll be myself and Blake. Yeah, myself and Blake discussing high school football. Man, listen. Just kick back and enjoy some football, man. It only happens for a few months of the year, so you have to cherish it while it's going on. But Blake, man, we're the Magnolia Shine podcast. We're in full swing, and folks, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm Charles Williams alongside Blake Levine. We out.